Welcome to today's deep dive. If you've ever felt that sheer sweat-inducing panic of, a toddler melting down in the middle of a grocery store,
Oh, we've all been there.
right? Everyone's staring. Well, this deep dive is completely for you.
It really is, yeah.
Because today we're looking at some incredible source material. It's a really practical, totally science-backed ebook called From Pain to Power, Targeted Solutions for Every Tantrum Challenge.
And it's by Dr. Bill Ray. He's a chiropractor with decades of experience, specifically looking at nervous system health.
Yeah, and the mission for today is to, well, completely reframe how you look at tantrums.
Exactly. We are stepping away from all that guilt and shame and exhaustion of traditional discipline.
Which is so heavy, and instead we're extracting Dr. Ray's targeted brain-based tools so you can handle meltdowns with actual confidence.
Because there's a crucial fact from the text we need to drop right away.
Yes, the guilt-relieving fact.
Right. Tantrums are not a sign of bad parenting, and they aren't a sign of a manipulative child either.
Thank goodness.
I mean, they are simply the biological reality of a developing brain.
Okay, let's unpack this, because getting into the brain behind the breakdown is, well, it completely removes the parent's guilt once you get it.
It really does. So the text explains this core conflict happening in a child's brain.
Right.
On one side, you have the amygdala.
The emotional center.
Yeah, the feeling center. It's highly active, it's completely dominant, and it is online from birth. Its whole job is to detect threats.
So it's basically a hypersensitive alarm system.
Exactly. But on the other side, you have the prefrontal cortex. This is the thinking, regulating, impulse control center of the brain.
The part that says, hey, maybe don't throw that toy.
Right, the brakes. But here is the mind-blowing fact from the source. That prefrontal cortex, it isn't fully online until a person is in their mid-20s.
Wait, hold on. Mid-20s?
Yes.
So you're telling me my toddler is operating purely on this intense alarm system, and they literally don't have the hardware to calm down for another 2 decades? It's heavily under construction, yes. So when they face frustration or just like sensory overstimulation, it triggers a fight or flight response.
Massive adrenaline dump.
Cortisol and adrenaline, yeah. And the prefrontal cortex goes completely offline in what the source actually calls an amygdala hijack.
An amygdala hijack. Wow. So essentially, expecting a toddler to reason during a tantrum is like giving them the keys to a sports car with a massive engine, the amygdala, but the factory hasn't even installed the brakes yet.
That is a perfect analogy. They literally have no brakes. Which means, biologically speaking, the parent's nervous system has to act as the brakes for them.
But how do we do that when our own stress levels are spiking? I mean, my alarm is going off too.
Right, which brings us to how parents have to prepare themselves before the tantrum even starts. You have to put your oxygen mask on first.
Yes, the text tackles this under the parent's foundation. It's all about addressing that emotional exhaustion.
Because if you're constantly drained, you can't be the brakes.
Exactly. So Dr. Ray introduces the daily parent reset ritual. Have you tried this? I've looked at the science behind it, and it's fascinating.
It's basically a 10 to 15-minute practice. You use 4-7-8 breathing. So inhale for 4, hold for 7, exhale for 8, and you pair it with a body scan.
Right, and the long exhale physically lowers your baseline cortisol.
Which you really need. And then there's the 8ALT check, H-A-L-T.
Yes, that's a daily preventative tool.
You're checking if you or your child are hungry, angry, lonely, or tired.
Because any of those will set off the amygdala.
Totally. And that leads into what he calls the tantrum kit. You carry snacks, calming toys, some water. But I have a huge pushback here on one specific item.
The earplugs.
Yes, wait, earplugs. I mean, doesn't putting in earplugs when your kid is screaming feel a bit like you're ignoring them? Like, the optics in a grocery store seem terrible.
Well, what's fascinating here is the concept of nervous system contagion.
Contagion, like catching a cold.
Kind of, but with emotions. The earplugs aren't to tune the child out.
Okay.
They are to dampen the parent's own sensory overload. There are these things called mirror neurons in our brains.
Right.
And if you hear a high-pitched scream, your mirror neurons instantly register it as a life-threatening emergency. Your own amygdala gets hijacked.
Oh, I see. So if I'm hijacked, I just escalate the situation.
Exactly. The parent's calm is contagious via those mirror neurons, but, their chaos is contagious too. The earplugs just take the edge off so you can stay regulated.
Wow. Okay. So I'm biologically anchoring myself. I've got my breathing down, my earplugs in. I am prepared.
You're the brakes now.
Right. So we're finally ready to step into the storm when that inevitable meltdown hits.
And it will hit. Which brings us to the trenches.
The HELP framework. HELP. This directly addresses the pain point of using ineffective strategies, like yelling or timeouts mid-tantrum.
Yeah, those just do not work.
So the H stands for halt. You literally pause for 30 to 60 seconds to soften your voice and regulate yourself.
And the E is empathy.
Empathy, right.
The source uses a strategy here called name it to tame it.
Which I love.
Yeah, it's brilliant. Labeling the emotion actually reduces amygdala activity. So the script is something like, "You're really angry, we have to leave the park. That feels unfair."
You're just stating exactly what they feel.
Yes, and I really want to emphasize what not to do here.
Oh, please do.
No top-down lectures, no reasoning, no punitive timeouts mid-tantrum.
Because the thinking brain is offline.
Exactly. You can't lecture an amygdala. Instead, you use a time in, staying close, and offering deep breathing.
But wait, let me play devil's advocate.
Sure.
If my kid is throwing a massive fit because I said no to a toy, and I sit down and say, "You're so mad because you can't have the toy," isn't that validating the tantrum? Doesn't that just reward the bad behavior?
It's a common fear, but we have to separate the emotion from the behavior.
Okay, how so?
You're validating the emotion.
Yeah.
You are biologically soothing the threat response system so that the thinking brain can actually turn back on. But you still hold the limit. That's the L in the HELP framework.
She still don't get the toy?
Right. The boundary stays. But you hold it with the P proximity and co-regulation. You stay close. You offer safety.
Here's where it gets really interesting, though.
Yeah.
If you actually do this, if you sit there, name the feeling, hold the limit, stay close, the text notes that the physiological wave of a tantrum usually passes in just 2 to 5 minutes.
2 to 5 minutes. That's all it takes for the cortisol to wash through.
That is wild. 5 minutes feels like an eternity in the grocery store, but it's really so short.
It is. But once that wave breaks and the child is calm, that is when the real work of parenting actually begins.
Right, because the most vital teaching doesn't happen during the storm.
No, the brain can't process it then. It happens in the aftermath.
So this is section 4, the aftermath, the family, and the future. We're talking post-tantrum repair and long-term neuroplasticity.
Let's start with the post-tantrum repair routine.
I love this part. The script Dr. Ray gives is so beautiful. You wait until they're calm and you say, "I love you even when feelings are huge. We got through that together."
It rebuilds the connection. And then, and only then, you briefly teach a coping skill.
Like, next time we're mad, we can squeeze a pillow.
Exactly.
No, it's like working out.
Sorry.
Well, the tantrum is the heavy lifting that actually tears the muscle. But the repair phase, when you reconnect and practice a new skill, that's the protein shake. That's what actually builds the emotional muscle back stronger.
Oh, that's a great way to put it. And if we connect this to the bigger picture, that muscle building is neuroplasticity.
Literally wiring the brain.
Yes. By doing these micro habits daily, parents are physically wiring the child's prefrontal cortex for better long-term control.
And it affects the whole family dynamic, right? Which is another huge pain point.
Tantrums can really divide partners.
Oh, completely.
Which is why the book recommends a unified front meeting. You sit down with your partner and shift to using we language, like we're helping their brain learn regulation. It protects the family ecosystem from all that resentment.
But we also have to talk about when to worry.
Yes, the developmental red flags.
The book is very clear on this. If tantrums are lasting over 30 minutes, or if there's frequent injury or, developmental regressions, that's when you need to seek professional help.
Because a 30-minute tantrum means the nervous system is stuck. It can't reset. So definitely reach out to a pediatrician if that's happening.
Right. It's so important to know that baseline.
Absolutely.
Okay, so let's take a breath and recap the journey we've been on.
It's a lot of information.
It is. We started by understanding the amygdala hijack, moving away from guilt.
Right.
We talked about doing the daily 4-7-8 reset to build the parent's foundation.
Putting the oxygen mask on first.
Yes, with the earplugs.
Okay.
And then we utilized the HELP framework, HALT, empathy, limits, proximity, prioritizing connection over reasoning during the actual storm.
Because you can't reason with an alarm system.
Exactly. So for you listening, if you're dealing with these exhausting moments, you aren't failing.
Not at all.
You're just navigating biology. And now you have the toolkit to work with your child's brain, not against it. So what does this all mean?
Well, I want to leave everyone with a final thought to mull over.
Okay.
We've spent this entire deep dive talking about how co-regulation and the HELP framework rewire your child's developing brain through neuroplasticity.
Right, building that prefrontal cortex.
But consider this. Because of mirror neurons and the way our own brains constantly adapt, By consciously breaking generational patterns and practicing these emotional resets, you aren't just building your child's brain.
Wait.
You are literally rewiring your own adult brain to be more resilient, more empathetic, and more peaceful.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. Healing your child's nervous system might just be the exact thing that heals your own.
That is incredibly powerful. So next time you're in the grocery store aisle and the meltdown hits, remember you're building two brains at once. Thanks for joining us on this deep dive, and we'll see you next time.